I'm sorry, y'all. I thought my video was on. But anyway, I will tell you this again. I thought I told you before, but my video wasn't even on. I have a 12-inch wireframe here, and I am doing the Deco Mesh pull-through method. The reason I'm using this 12-inch frame because I had used a little bit off of my roll, so I want to make sure I have enough. So what I did here was gather the end together, and I zip tied it in the middle frame. So I just start pulling through the first ring and the last ring. So I call this, I've never seen this done with Deco Mesh before. I didn't seen it done with burlap. So I'm giving it a try with the mesh. So what I was doing, I was pulling through, and make sure that you don't have this poof at the bottom. You don't want to see any poofs at the bottom. You want to pull all of that up. And as you're pulling up, make sure that your right side, if you don't have a double-sided mesh, make sure the right side is up, not over like that. So I'm gonna continue pulling through, and as you're pulling through, you can measure your ends because you want them both to be even. So just continue pulling through. And then make sure I have enough. I think that'll be enough on that side. This middle, this ring divider. And make sure you keep your sides in the right direction. As they get fuller, sometimes it might be a little bit hard to keep together. So what I'm gonna do now, I am gonna feed my zip tie through feed my zip tie through this mesh, and you want to do it the same way you came in. Leave these two sides free. Just put it through the ones that you have ruffled up already. Pull it through. Then you want to go down under. And then make sure your flat side is on the right side where you want it to do your connection. And your zip tie is on the bottom. The zip tie notch is on the bottom. You may have to do some straightening. Okay, you see my bottom free from puffs. And we're gonna go ahead and snip this zip tie tail off. Now, I will be back with the finished product of my pull it through deco mesh method. Hey y'all, I am attempting to make a pumpkin wreath. So that's what I'm in the process of doing right now. I already have my Chanel stems on there, but I'm thinking I may have to have 5 on each line. Right now I have 4. So let's see. Okay, first I'm gonna start at, and then I put a little glue on it because I kind of like want them to stay in a line. So I have to maybe put a little more glue on this one. Trying to keep it as straight as possible. Okay. And I have some orange burlap here. I started out using mesh, but I think mesh may be a little too thin. I'm gonna secure it around this Chanel stem on the corner of the frame. This is my first time going for a pumpkin. So let's see how it turns out. Okay. Now I'm gonna measure it and see, because I don't want to make it too big where the form won't look like a pumpkin. I think a 5-inch. I'm gonna go with 5-inch. I may have to add more Chanel stems if I'm going only 5-inch. I want them to look like the form of a pumpkin. So it won't be too big, it'll be out of shape, and it won't look like a pumpkin at all, because I have seen some like that. They don't even look like a pumpkin because they done made them too big. And you want to get them as even as possible. Yeah, I started out using the mesh, but it was just a little too thin where you can see the insides of the rail. You don't want that. A lot of people covered their rails, and I may have to wind up doing that too, but I won't have to cover them as much. So let's try to make a beautiful pumpkin. Okay, let's see as much as possible. That way you don't want it too out of shape. And by the time you put other ones on it, it'll start, the form will start coming together. And that way you can see about how much or how many you want on there. So that's 3 right there. Let's do the 4th one in the corner. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna go all the way around. Let's make it all the way around. So I'm gonna go ahead and go all the way around, and I'm gonna come back when I get ready to start on the next section. Okay, I'll be back. Hey y'all, this is your girl Milady here. I have my next method is it's called the pull through. I have a 14-inch wide frame. I attach this with a zip tie on the crossbar. I threaded it in between the burlap. So now we're gonna do our pull through. This is a 5.5 inch chevron burlap, and it's just single facing. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull through the first one. I don't like my burlap loops too big. I like them nice and neat. And this is about sufficient enough for me. Then I'm gonna go into the next section. Making sure it's even as possible. Then we'll go in through the third section. Okay, so now we're just going to give it a little slack. We're just going to start all over from where we started in the beginning. And I like mine nice and tight, so hold it kind of snug against that. And just continue. Pulling through. Y'all hear the birds singing outside. So you just gonna keep pulling through. Holding it snug. I'm just gonna keep rotating around and around. And I will be back with the finished product and my next method. See you on the next one.